Gen Z is the most conservative generation that we've had in a long time. We understand this and we know this. And in fact, Jake Tapper and the New York Post know this, and we're going to read this story to you. So here we go. The title. CNN's Jake Tapper says Gen Z will be, quote, a lot more conservative after schools forced lefty politics down their throats. By Taylor Herzich. Here we go. CNN's Jake Tapper predicted that Gen Zers will be a lot more conservative than previous generations, and he blamed schools for forcing progressive politics down their throats. The lefty host of The Lead with Jake Tapper warned that Democrats are failing to win over Americans aged 13 to 28. Quote, I think Gen Z is going to be a lot more conservative, he said Wednesday on the Reason Interview podcast with Nick Gillespie, editor-at-large of Reason magazine. Just my experience knowing Gen Z kids, my kids and their friends, and whatever, I sense much more skepticism. And I think it is a reaction to Gen Xers and millennials forcing on them progressive views in school, said Tapper, who has two teenagers. The journo, who got heavy backlash from Dems over his book about former President Joe Biden's mental decline, took aim at specific lefty movements that might have pushed Gen Zers away. Quote, I also think it's a reaction to the failures of progressive movements to achieve what they wanted to achieve, whether it's Bernie Sanders, whether it's BLM, whether it's Me Too, Tapper said. I think it's COVID. I think it's a lot of progressive politics being forced down their throats in school. Tapper still got in a dig at President Trump. Quote, but then Trump did not win young voters, as he constantly said he did. But he did do better with them than previous Republicans. Okay, so, I mean, this is it. He obviously got to something. There's a point here. Young people actually did break with President Trump, particularly young men. Young Gen Z men are the ones that won Trump over. But he hasn't been winning us over as of late because we're strongly conservative. We view Trump as a moderate. Trump is somebody who is not being America first. And we've protested this on the show numerous times, and we're going to continue to hold his feet to the fire. But Jake Tapper makes a good point. When you have all of these left-wing, extremely progressive agendas forced down your throats in school, whether that's the Me Too movement, whether that is the BLM, whether it's the Pride movement, the LGBTQ movement, all of that stuff. And it's not that the kids wouldn't have even got to these points naturally. But we talk about this all the time. The Democratic Party had a layup with young people. They always have a layup with young people. Their policies are they're designed, quite literally designed to appeal to young people. Whether you have the Medicare for All, for example. It's increasingly more expensive to have health care in this country. And young people getting off their parents' plans are just experiencing all of that. Whether that's any of the free programs, young people are struggling right now. It would be an incentive to get onto these free programs and be able to start your life. But it seems that they've messed up so bad. Young people have always went with the Democrats. For generations have went with the Democrats, and then over time, as you get older, you become a Republican. That's just how it goes. But they had to mess up so bad. I mean, think of it. It's like if you're Angel Reese, and you have a wide open layup, and this is something she does often. You have a wide open layup, fast break, all 9 other players on the opposite side of the basketball court. You're Angel Reese, you get a steal. You're going up to the hoop. Nobody is within 30 feet of you. You're taking it up, and you miss the layup. That's what the Democratic Party did. I mean, you think about young men. Young men are driving this, by the way. Young Gen Z men are driving this. And here's how to kind of quantify it if you don't understand. You have a generation of men, myself in particular, that grew up in their formative years, they're teenagers, from like 2014, I'd say even 2012 to 2025, right? You're a teenager in that early time, and then you grow up to an adult in that time. In this particular time, 10 to 12 years, you have masculinity, a war on masculinity, any type of masculinity being called toxic. You have the Me Too movement, which prioritized women over men. If you remember the future is female, that was the big quote. This excluded men from a lot of spaces, and it really demonized men who weren't trying to be these awful people that the stories were about in the news. So you had things like that. And then on top of that, you had just a more left-leaning culture. Something that was not as, how would I say it? accepting of young men as it was in the past. The world wasn't exactly set up for these young men, and you see it now. Young men are unemployed more. Young men are the ones that are killing themselves much more. They're suffering, and nobody seems to be helping them. Institutions like the Democratic Party that would have helped them in the past have completely abandoned them. And so as a result, you see them becoming more conservative. You see them saying, hey, like, these things aren't supposed to benefit me. When you have all of these systems that are designed to be at these people's throats, what are you expecting? In addition to that, you've had celebrities, media figures in the past, and even currently, that are calling these young men Nazis. When that's not true, these kids just have conservative opinions now that you've blackballed them. You've really alienated them from your party. So what's that going to do? They're going to internalize that. That's going to make them a little bit more irrational. I mean, no question. If you continue to call a particular group whatever it is, over time they're eventually going to internalize that and believe it. So Jake Tapper makes a very good point, and he's a little bit late to the party. We've been talking about this on the show for a long time, but it's just something that it's very important to know this and to understand exactly what we're dealing with. Because I believe Gen Z, we're going to solve a lot here. We're going to kind of correct the imbalance of power in this country, and we're hopefully going to turn out a lot of people and create a lot of voices in the coming years to fix the country. Because right now, the whole thing, regardless if you're a Gen Z woman or a Gen Z man, the country is not working. We understand this. Again, look outside. Things are not going well. The median age of a first-time home buyer in America now is 38. 10 years ago, it was 30. That's a big problem. We cannot get homes. A lot of us cannot buy anything. A lot of us can't even rent because they can't afford the rent. It's a problem. And hopefully we're going to be able to fix it here, but who knows? So, not the black pill, but yeah, I have a lot of hope. I have a lot of hope for Gen Z. I have a lot of hope for what we're going to do in this country, and hopefully we can turn it around. But, yeah, so I won't be watching Pints with Aquinas anytime soon, but if the content is good, then I will be back. But that's all. So, have a great one. Thank you all for watching. Please remember to subscribe. I keep forgetting to say that. Please remember to subscribe. Give the video a like, a comment. We're running memberships now for as low as 99 cents per month. You could support the Luke Papala Show. You could support Innocent Villains. You can support me and the channel. We will make better stuff for you, I promise. We're already delivering on that promise, and we're going to continue to do so. So thank you, and have a good one.